Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, siang, sore, good morning, evening, good afternoon, good night to Mr. Johan. In today explanation, I will explain about the BBL3 of uh, the security policies and regulations. And the SOP like this as well. And then the case study is the Indonesia Tax Agency data breach or the NPWP, kebocoran yang terjadi di tahun 2024 tahun lalu. My name is Gunawan Daniarto. I'm from T4A, NIM 233 140 700 111 and 17. Role of the wait. So the main I want to explain first is the role of information of security standards from the meeting 15. Why the standard is matter is to provide globally recognized guidelines to prevent breaches, etc., weak access controls, poor encryption, complement legal frameworks like UU ITE and UU PDP by offering actionable technical controls. Key standards for Indonesian tax agency is ISO 27001 or 27002 implement ISMS and access control policies. And then the last one is NIST SP 800 63B, strengthen password management and authentication. This is the inside of ISO 27001. It's the definition is to management standard that explain how to design an ISMS. Description is list security controls in Annex A. Certification, there is certification, and then the ISO 27002 is supplementary standards for implementing security controls, details how to implement each of the security controls in Annex A, and there is no certification. And the last one is overview of NIST SP 800. Identity, first of all, is the compliance and assurance, and then privacy consideration, and then identity lifecycle management and authentication, and then the last one is identity proofing. The next one I will explain about the inside of ISO 27001 and 002, the critical controls for data protection. So ISMS 27001 is requires risk assessments, security policies, and continuous monitoring. ISO 27002 controls section 9 basically security, secure server rooms, equipment disposal, critical for protecting taxpayer data. And then section 11 access control 11.2.3 enforce strong password policies aligns with UU PDB's data protection mandates. 11.4.5 network segregation to isolate sensitive database. And then the last one is NIST SP 863B. It is mitigating credential theft. Relevance is to the breach. Weak password likely enabled unauthorized access. NIST SP 800 provides password requirements, minimum 8 characters, salted or hashed, storage clause 5.1.1.2, multi-factor authentication MFA, reduces reliance on password alone comparison with UITE. How ISO 27002 could have prevented the breach but it cannot this problem on the NPWP. It got breached by someone, we don't know who it is. 11.1.1 Access Control Policy enforce least privilege for taxpayer data access. 11.6.1 Information Access Restriction encrypt NPWP or NK databases. 9.2.6 Secure Equipment Disposal is to prevent leakage via decommissioned hardware. 11.5.3 Password Management aligned with NIST hashing requirement. And then the mitigation strategies is technique upgrades ISO 27017 secure cloud storage of taxpayer data. And then the NIST remote identity proving for third-party vendors. The legal alignment map ISO 27001 controls to Undang-Undang PDP Article 67. I will explain the inside of article after this. A penalty for unlawful data collection. Use ISO 27035 incident management to comply with UITE's breach reporting requirement. Recommendation for the tax agency is to first adopt ISO 27001 build an SMS to systemize data protection, enforce NIST SP 800, mandate MFA and password hashing, train staff, combine ISO 27002 controls, etc. Clear desk policy with UITE awareness. Third-party audits use ISO 27006 to certify compliance. And then this is the case study. I choose data NPWP because it's the most shocking things that happened in 2024. The previous year, I was surprised too by the leakage on the Twitter X. I mean, there is a lot of NIK of person that is spread it around. In September 2024, Indonesia faced significant data breaches involving 6 million NPWP taxpayer identification number records, including sensitive personal data such as NIK and taxpayer details. The leak was exposed by cybersecurity activist Teguh Aprianto with data sold on a dark web forum by a user named Bjorka for $10,000. This incident highlights critical gaps in data protection and the urgent need for robust cybersecurity policies and legal enforcement. So I will explain about the background and legal context. So the relevant laws UITE, Electronic Information and Transaction Laws, governs cyber activities including data protection and prohibited acts. No 11 2008 revised by No 19 2016 treated UPDP personal data. Wait, test. Okay. I'm sorry. UPDP personal data protection law enforced in 2022 mandates strict handling of personal data and penalties for breach. No 27 2022 page 9. And then the purpose is to analyze the breach through Indonesia legal frameworks and then propose mitigation strategies aligned with international standards. And then this is the inside of the UU ITE number 11 2008 is about information and transaction electronics, and then the protection of privacy data. And then I will go to the SOP. Oh, wait, this is the SOP, Security Policies and Regulations, Incident Handling, Case Study, Kebocoran NPWP. So the title is Incident Response for Personal Data Breaches in Government Information System. The related division, Cybersecurity Response Team, Application Developers, System Administrators, Data Management Team. Periodic. Oh, my bad. This is wrong. Periodic review date every 6 months or after an incident. Reference standard ISO EAC 27035 NIS SP 861 Indonesian PDP Law number 27 2022 BSN Regulation number 1 2024. The background is already I explained. The NPWP leakage database managed by the Directorate General of Taxes. The breach reportedly impact approximately 6 million citizens, including high-profile individuals such as Joko Widodo, several cabinet ministers, and thousands of public and private sector personnel. The stolen data, which was offered for sale on illegal forms, including sensitive personal information such as national identification numbers, email addresses, phone numbers, taxpayer names and addresses, and then the last one is tax-related information. The attack highlighted major cybersecurity and data protection shortcomings in Indonesian public sector. Preliminary investigations it indicated that attackers may have exploited misconfigured APIs, lack of encryption, and inadequate monitoring systems. This breach prompted significant public outcry with concerns over how personal data is managed by government agency. I don't think this is the wrong thing to say because the leakage is too much, because it is really a privacy data, and then it just spread around the internet. It also raises regulatory and ethical questions on how data controllers, especially state institutions, are fulfilling their obligations under the Personal Data Protection PDP law passed in 2022. Furthermore, the incident placed pressure on BSSN, Badan Siber dan Sandi Negara, to evaluate national cybersecurity policies. The Ministry of Finance and Directorate General of Taxes improve internal controls, regulatory bodies to accelerate the enforcement of data protection compliance. The SOP developed in direct response to this breach, aiming to establish a clear, effective, and regulation compliant framework to prevent and mitigate future personal data breaches in government system. The SOP purpose is to provide standardized procedure for responding to personal data breaches, to minimize the impact of cybersecurity incident of citizens and public institutions, to improve readiness and capability of technical and legal teams in crisis situations, to ensure institutional compliance with national and international data protections law. The scope is government-owned and operated information systems, managing citizen personal data. Any event involving unauthorized access, exposure, and or theft of personally identifiable information (PII), the full incident response lifecycle detections, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident analysis. The IRT, Incident Response Team, the role, the the responsible coordinates overall response decision making is the IRT, and then the accountable is head of cybersecurity, the consultant is legal team IT security manager, the informed is all stakeholders. And then the next one is application developer, audit and patch application vulnerabilities, head of DevOps, system admins, analyst, management. And then the role of the sysadmins, the responsibility is isolate and secure affected servers. The accountable is IT manager, consultant is developers, informed by executives. Uh, the role is legal. Next one is legal, and the last one compliance team, and then the responsibilities is ensure regulatory compliance and report breaches. Uh, the accountable is the chief compliance officer, and then the consulted is IRT regulation, and the informed is by before is public or authorities. Incident chronology table. So the time is at uh, uh, 18 September 2024 at 10 a.m. I think there is happening activity or event anomaly detected in access logs to NPWP APIs, and then the performer or team is SOC analyst. The log proof is system or access log. So it's actually happening in real time. This is the time that happened because it is the like the abstract part that this happened. Maybe uh, there is no one watching it or watching the bridge or whatever. So it is just an assumption. The next part is in 18 September 2024 at 11 a.m. Alert raised to incident response team. Uh, the performer is SIEM system, and then log proof is incident notification email. And then the last part is at 12:30 activity event. Security firm confirms the data got leaked. Is already too late. I mean, performer team external security auditor log proof is screenshot of leaked sample data. The mitigation technical recommendation. Uh, the mitigation that could prevent or should be used by uh, the analyst or the developers of the web, it should be first of all there is two. The direct mitigation is to isolate affected servers from the network, revoke and regenerate access credentials, block suspicious IPs and user agents, apply patches. This is the big thing or the weird thing about the suspicious IPs. If you check it or I mean daily checking it the IPs, you will notice that some wrong IPs or the uh, third party IPs that never been known went into the database and will be noticed by the developer or the cybersecurity admins. But the problem is maybe it is the it is the cause of the insider of the governor government part. And then the next one is apply patches to fix identified vulnerabilities, notify regulators Kominfo BSSN within 72 hours as per PTP law. And then the long-term mitigation is implement MFA, multi-factor authentication for internal and external access, conduct regular code audits and penetration testing, train staff in security-based practices and social engineering prevention, encrypt all personal data at rest and in transit, establish data loss prevention DLP policies. And then this is the incident handling flow chart. The following diagram shows the flow handling. My bad. This is not. This is I mean the case of NPWP 2024. It looks like this. Okay, wait. Let me open it. So the first one is this is my analysis, just analysis. So the first one is data breaches by the hacker, and then the initial alert and logging, and then the next one is access scope and severity. What data and how much data uh, that already got leaked, and then notify IRT and management form incident response team. Uh, uh, and then the next part is containment actions, disconnect affected systems, block malicious IPs or users. And then the next one is eradication of threat, remove malware, fix exploits, reset credential, notify authorities and stakeholders, Cominfo, BSSN users within 72 hours as per PDP law. And then the next one is notify authorities and stakeholders, Cominfo. Oh wait, this is double. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, don't. Okay, my bad. And then the next one is system recovery and patch fixes, and then restore from backup, apply security updates. And then the last one is post incident review, root cause analysis, update, SOPs, and documentation. And then that's it for the. Okay, next part I will explain about the policy incident identification and detection for the NPWP. The identification is detecting of unauthorized access to NPWP database via EDR alerts, etc., suspicious SQL queries or ransomware encrypting /var www folders containing taxpayer data, dark web monitoring, etc., leak NPWP or NIK records sold on hacker forums. The triage severity classification. The critical part is NPWP NIK data leaks, high risk personal identifiers under UU PDP pasal 4. And then the high is unauthorized access to tax payment histories, financial data. The notification is internal notify Indonesia Incident Response Team IRT, BSSN, and Tax Directorate within 1 hour. External report to PTP supervisory body if established per UU PTP pasal 65 72 hour mandate. Containment is immediate actions, block attacker IPs and isolate compromise servers hosting and PWP data, disable third party vendor access, suspected breach factor in 2024, and then the eradication is for forensic step, wipe malware infected systems using NIST SP 888 standards, audit database queries to identify SQL injection flaws, suspected in NPWP breach. And then the next part is recovery data restoration, rebuild NPWP databases from encrypted backups stored offline per ISO 27031, rotate all credentials, etc., tax agency, employees, logins, documentation, legal evidence, preserve forensic images for law enforcement required under UU ITE Pasal 5 log action to demonstrate compliance with UU PDP Pasal 67. And then post-incident review, lesson learned, train staff on phishing risks, common attack vector, update SOPs to address third-party vulnerabilities, key gap is in NPWP breach. The benefit of making SOP like this, implementation in preventing reassurance is to provide clear step and guidance during critical situations, ensure rapid response, and reduces chaos in emergency conditions, increase public confidence in government data systems. And then the next one is demonstrates regulatory compliance and risk management readiness. And the last one is encourage uh, proactive uh, prevention through uh, repeatable and auditable process. Uh, the next one is the procedure of how is this happening. Direction is use ARD SIAM to monitor for encryption patterns. Notification alert IRT management system owners immediately. Classification confirm ransomware, etc. Logbit extension ransom node. Isolation is to disconnect infected segments, kill all suspicious process, and then the eradication is wipe systems and reinstall with update OS or images. Recovery to retrieve backup from secure unaffected storage. Validation ensures recovery integrity and re-enable services. And then the next one is reporting, compile detailed reports for audit or legal terms. Review is to revise playbooks, review weak points, schedule drills, documentation where detailed incident and response reports like the SOPs, and then evaluation, conduct post mortem to update SOPs and training. And then the abbreviation, in term IRT, meaning is incident response team, EDR is endpoint detection and response, SOP is standard operating procedure, SIEM is security information and event management, and then the closure and documentation, the ransomware attack and this Cominfo was handled according to this SOP. Isolation, eradication, and recovery steps were successfully conducted, and the key lessons were incorporated into revised training module and update playbook. Uh, the references, these are the references. I use six references. And then the associated documents, this is the I use SOP for secure coding standards, SOP for penetration testing procedures, SOP for data breach notification and legal compliance, SOP for system backup and recovery. I guess that is all from me. I'm sorry if I stutter a lot or explain wrongly or make a lot of mistakes. Thank you, Mr. Johan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.